Climbers, take a deep breath. Daddy's not happy. Okay? Grab a cup of coffee. Maybe you need a cocktail for this one. It's going to sting a little bit. We're going to do a reality check. You're grossly underestimating your exposure, which is why you're spinning your wheels, which is why you're kind of stuck. But let's break it down and talk about what you can do to fix it.
Let's go.
Welcome to the climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. Leverage has become my favorite word, and not just because of the podcast. Recently, just because leverage it is. Like when I mention that to people, they're like, leverage. I like leverage. I like that word, leverage. Like it hits. It resonates. Mm-hmm. It's like 432A. You know what I mean? It's like instead of 440. You know what I mean? It resonates. And why? Because it makes sense. That is it. That's what you need to get ahead, right? You want them coming to you. You don't want to be going to them. That's why we called it the C.L.I.M.B. C.L.I.M.B. Creating leverage in the music business. Did you see that? You picking up what we're putting down? That's a backstream for my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter, who's an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady A, Joe Nichols, and more. He's got number ones in Southern gospel. He's got top tens in Australia and Texas. He's one hell of a model American, I can tell you that. And but listen, you don't care about that. Here's what you care about is that he can help you. He can help songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and on the regular, he's going to create situations that will introduce you to the pros. You can find Brent very easily at songwritingpro.com.
Now I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They're breaking artists digitally by identifying new fans through data. Yeah, it's complicated, but he's smart. If you're an artist looking to increase your streams, blow up your video views, sell more live show tickets, and get discovered by new fans, TV, and music industry pros, then Daredevil Production can help. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That is production, singular, no S. Why is there no S? Because there is no other. Johnny D.
What's up, brother?
Man, it's good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Today, I'm gonna take a little medicine. Man. I did a deep dive on just some stuff to try to, I've been frustrated with artists and
yeah,
their approach to this or their lack of approach.
Lack thereof. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I just started, going back to the fundamentals, back to the basics, like I do. Whenever your golf swing is off, whenever your swing at the plate is off in baseball, whenever your quarterback ain't hitting right, because there's all this nuance and all this thinking and all this stuff that's going on in the head. There's when your basketball shot is off, right? There's one thing that every coach is going to tell you to do. Forget everything. Go back to the basics.
Right.
Shoot 400 shots. Shoot 400 shots right from this place you keep missing. And don't think about anything else but your shot, your follow through.
Yeah.
Your everything that's involved with it. Just the basics, And that's the stuff that matters. So we're gonna just look at some numbers today. We're gonna look at some numbers on some different things, and I don't think one of you is probably going to walk away from this going, I think I'm good.
Great.
But, I think we're under freaking estimating what it takes. But the good news is that's what's in the way is your underestimation of it. It's like, I think when you look at the numbers and whoa, it's shocking. Not just exposure numbers that we're going to look at, but consistency numbers. Okay.
Mm-hmm. This excites me. It's like the C.L.I.M.B show. Come for song title challenge. Stay for the emotional abuse.
Yeah. But I think this is going to provide perspective. And when you see it, I'm setting the bar today. Setting the freaking bar today. Here it is. I guarantee you, like all the indie artists are not even in the shallow end of this gene pool.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even in the kiddie pool of this gene pool. They're in like the little tub that parents get to bathe a newborn in the sink pool. That's where they're at.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think once you see the bar and once you have the perspective, you're like, I got more work to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if that hits home, and that's the reality check. You got more work to do. Okay. And when you realize that, I'm hoping I'm going to flip a couple switches here.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to be like, okay, yep. I can change this. Like, this is all to me. You know what I mean? I've got the power to do everything right here, but it's a lot more work. And it's job requirement work. It's not anything else. I mean, it's just that simple. It really is. So that's what we're going to get into. Before we do that, let's take care of a little business. Make sure that you join the C.L.I.M.B community on Facebook. Go to Facebook groups, search for the C.L.I.M B community, or just go to facebook.com/groups/the C.L.I.M B community. You have to ask to be let in. We let everybody in unless you look like you're trying to sell us something. We don't like that in there. Don't bother. Don't even bother coming, man. But you know what? Most people that do that just follow groups and they've never even heard the podcast. It's clear. But here, this is a thriving community where you can get answers, support, ask questions in that feed. You got something you're not sure of? Ask, and let me tell you something. Our community rocks. It is everybody is out to help everybody else, and nobody's a douchebag, Really, you ask a question about marketing or production or songwriting or whatever, and you're going to get a bunch of answers of people that really care. And you get to wave your freak flag high, which we want to see, like show us your new music on New Music Monday as a comment in that post. Tell us when your gigs are on Gig Alert Thursday as a comment in that post. And then we celebrate every Wednesday. We post new heights. We call it Wednesday Wins, and we celebrate those on the podcast. So what do we got today?
That's right. Today, climber Brad, it's either Hoshaw or Hoshaw. Sorry for getting your name wrong. But Brad Hoshaw says, celebrating my 1-year Nash-versary. In that time, I've written 50 songs with 52 awesome co-writers. And so congrats, Brad. Welcome home.
That's one a week. I mean, you know what? That's good. I like that.
He's with the 2-week vacation. He's working on it. He's working it. Yep. And let's see. Climber Pamela Mary says, I'm a top 5 finalist for the Texas Country Music Association Christian Country Artist of the Year. Hey, I'd appreciate your vote. And she puts a link there. And you know what? That's cool. That is a win to be nominated. And that is fine to put that link in there. So if you hurry up, y'all can go vote for Pamela Mary. So congrats. And y'all keep on climbing.
We love Pamela, long-time climber.
That's right.
Good job, everybody. All right. So let's get to it here. So Brent, have you seen that picture of Mick Jagger at the Olympics in Paris?
You sent that to me last night, I think it was.
Yeah, you looked at it,
That's
right?
the only time I've seen that.
So this has gone viral. And if you haven't seen it, just Google it, okay? You've got Mick Jagger surrounded by a bunch of millennials watching the, I'm going to say watching in air quotes, the Olympics in Paris, and their faces are buried in their devices, completely unaware that they're sitting next to one of the world's most iconic rock stars.
So they're up in the stands. So you got, they're stacking people up like that. And he is just like watching looks like the court or the field or whatever event he's watching. And then around him, so many people you can tell are elbow deep in their phone. Yeah. One lady maybe side-eyeing him like, is that somebody? He looks, a lady that looks a little bit older. Yeah, he's got his hat on. He's incognito. He's not full peacock. But still, it's freaking Mick Jagger. He's pretty recognizable.
I mean, come on. But you're right. Everybody's like, how much friggin' money did they pay to come from all over the dang world to, go to the Olympics? You don't just meander into the Olympics because you're on the Champs-Elysees and you're like, oh, hey, look, there's a stadium over there. We should just walk in there.
Hop on over.
Yeah, just go in and maybe we'll get some lunch afterwards. Like, no, it's this is a big deal. These people came from God knows where, and they're all got their head in their phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is who you're promoting your music to. This is who you're promoting your music to. You guys, you want to believe that a good song is what it takes to break through. And you want to believe, if you do good work as an artist, that your music will do the talking. That's our hope,
Mm-hmm.
But here's the question that you really need to ask yourself. To whom, if anybody, is your music talking to? And I'm asking this question from the assumption that you're a compelling artist with great songs. So
Which
I'm
is
not
not a given, but we're starting there.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume that, because if none of this is going to matter if you're still trying to become a compelling artist,
Right, yeah.
So what I'm not commenting on is the quality of your music. I'm not saying like it's not talking to anybody because you need to make better music. Let's even take it further. Let's say that you're a generational artist like Prince, generational talents, what are the actual numbers of people your amazing music is being exposed to? What are they? Have you ever thought about that? I know you complain it's not enough, but have you quantified it? And what kind of consistency in the content is there for you? What kind of consistency on your content, on your promotion platform, which is social media? Have you ever thought about that? We go into that. So let's go back to fundamentals. Let's go back to basics. I did a deep dive on the Beatles.
Oh, yes.
I know a lot about the Beatles, and we've talked about it many times on the show, but I started thinking about this a different way. So let's break this down. And this is where we're going to set the bar for promotion and for consistency, because this is a vulgar display of prowess, okay, in terms of consistency and, what luck with the promotion, but because of the time. But the Beatles exploded on the world scene in 1963 and broke up in 1970. It's the hottest 7-year run ever.
That's crazy. I know when I look back on that, because, I was born after they broke up, right? So they existed on the radio, in record stores, on TV stuff, and just in the culture, right? And they'd gone through so much, it felt like they'd been around for decades. And then one day I found out they were only around for like 7 or 8 years. And it blew my freaking mind. I'm like, what? That was just in a couple of years?
Yeah. And by the way, in 1970, when the Beatles broke up, 600 million units sold. 600 million records sold.
Not
600 bad. Million. 600 million records sold. 600 million. Okay. Sheryl Crow sold 14 million records.
Yeah.
Tesla, 14
She's been
million
around for a while.
Yeah. 14. Like Bon Jovi, 100 million records. Billy Joel, 160 million records.
Wow.
Beatles, that's cute. 600 million records, man, and now it's over 1 billion. But that was in 1970 when they broke up.
So they're averaging almost like 80 million a year over that run.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
They released in that 7 years. This is just in that 7 years, because there's other stuff that was re-released and crap afterwards by the labels. But they released 12 studio albums, including one double album, one compilation album, 13 EPs, including one double EP, and 22 singles, including 4 double A-sided singles.
Hmm.
So it's really like 24
Mm-hmm.
in 7 years.
That's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content.
That's a lot.
There's your bar. That's what I call consistent work ethic. You know, it was after the Beatles in the 70s where rock and roll and pop blew up, and we have, you know, artists taking a year to make a record.
Yeah.
Or 2 years or 3 years to make a record. You know, Def Leppard, 4 years. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. 10 songs, 4 years. By the way, I saw.
I mean, those are some good records, but
they're a great record. I mean, I love them. But I saw Joe Elliott talking about that. He's like, it took us 4 years to make Hysteria. I think he was on the Howard Stern show or something. It took us 4 years. He goes, what was funny is Pour Some Sugar on Me, which is arguably their biggest hit, I think.
Yeah.
It happened like 2 weeks. He was like, I was in the stairway just playing this song. You know, I had the hook and the chord changes down to pour some sugar on me. And he said, you know, walked by. He's like, hey, what's that? He's like, I don't know. I haven't done it. He's like, oh, well, let's do that. And so he goes, we recorded that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And with the record, it was an 11th hour thing. And he's like, what the F are we doing? Why are we taking 4 years to make a record? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. So that's work ethic. And by the way, you know, we're talking about Lennon and McCartney here.
Mm-hmm.
The world's greatest songwriting duo ever.
Mm-hmm.
And their first 5 releases of those 12 studio albums consisted of 50% cover songs.
Well, there are a lot of good songs out there. And if you're putting out a lot of content, it's hard to write a lot of really good songs when there are a bunch of really good songs already floating around. Right?
It's not even from a lack of songs. I don't think that Lennon and McCartney suffered from a lack of songs in those first 5 records. I think they were trying to break through to a bigger audience. And guess what? Cover songs was the way to do it. You know, Twist and Shout, not the Beatles. They didn't write that. You know, but we all know that song. Mm-hmm. So, and we all know the Beatles version of that song.
Yes, I do.
That's where you first heard it, probably. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I get artists that are just kind of like, you know, ho-hum about doing covers. Mm-hmm. I want to be known as original artist. I want to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, man, are you better than Lennon and McCartney? You know?
You're like, who?
Are you? Yeah, no, but you know, that's what catapulted them. Mm-hmm. You know, like somebody, I don't know if they did it begrudgingly, and that was management's idea or the label's idea and forced upon them, or if they just are like, this makes sense. We like this song. Let's do it. Yeah. But I can tell you this, every one of those covers, man, they owned it. Like it became their song, you know, and that's the idea, right? That's the idea on the cover song. So, you know, let that sink in for those of you who are adverse to covers. You know, are you better than the Beatles? Are you better than Lennon and McCartney? Because that's the tactic that they used to break through. Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about promotion here. I mean, already, isn't that just the consistency? Like, I had no freaking idea that I would have been overwhelmingly blown away and shown much respect if they did 7 records in 7 years.
Yeah.
They did 12. I mean, come on. Like, what the hell? So when the Beatles, they were in front of 73 million people on February 9th, 1964 in the Ed Sullivan Show when they first came to America. At that time, 73 million people is about 40% of the American population. What's more is that they didn't play one song and gone like we're all used to,
Mm-hmm.
today's shows. They played 5 songs,
Wow.
which means they were exposed to those 73 million people for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the size of an audience on a hit TV show looked like 60 years ago when we didn't have social media, we didn't have devices, and there's only 3 channels to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then of course the Beatles were on the radio,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have streaming, so you didn't have choices there. You either listened to the music that you owned, that you purchased, or you listened to the radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's switch gears and bring it up into today. As a point of comparison in today's media, CNN, which is one of the largest news networks, has an audience of about 500,000 people. So if you become a huge story on CNN, and let's hope that it's for the right reasons, you're going to be a blurb, a soundbite, right?
Mhm.
There's no 15 minutes on CNN, man. You're going to reach 500,000 people, or 0.006% of the 73 million people the Beatles had.
Yeah.
But since it's only probably a 2-minute soundbite, you're really reaching about 0.0007%
Mm-hmm.
of of the audience the Beatles were able to reach on one show, right? Because you're only getting a piece of it. If you go to appear on Jimmy Fallon, you're going to play one song for 1.3 million people. 1.7% of the Beatles audience on Ed Sullivan. And it's only one song instead of 5 songs. So the net exposure is 0.003% of that Beatles audience, right? And to achieve the 1.7% of the 73 million person audience, you got to appear on Fallon 5 times.
Yeah. Which, if you're going to do that, you're already a major star.
Yeah. So the old record business, had a true blue, reliable, and repeatable promotion platform called terrestrial radio that ensured that a song got heard over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a good song, but it also takes a good song that's plugged into a platform that gets it heard.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. They also had TV back in the 60s and the 70s. It wasn't until 1980 in cable that we went to 4 major networks and then deep cable, but it wasn't until 1990 that we had, everybody was all connected with cable across the country and had access to those deep cable channels. And I mentioned this before, but by the way, like if you guys even have, I haven't had broadcast television for 10 years in my house, but if you do, each one of those channels, when they first started out, whatever your favorite channels are, TNT, Lifetime Network, Bravo, you've got all these deep cable TV networks that and love, started out with reruns.
Mm-hmm.
They started out purchasing rerun. They didn't have any of their own content,
right?
Because they didn't have an audience, and so they did. So reruns,
they couldn't afford it.
Exactly. Buying like syndication rights for Friends or for MASH or for for those big shows is what drew the audience to them. So they're just running reruns, but people would go and watch them. And then, so that's network television's version of, guess what? A cover song.
Yeah.
Right. So
a more modern take on that would be Netflix starting off with other studios, movies, B-movies, everything they get their hands on, which is like covers. It's stuff you already know from somewhere else. And then they start producing their own stuff. It's like, oh, now Netflix is more of an original band that throws in some covers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a really good example. And Netflix was streaming in 2007 and they didn't come out with their first original song until 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2007 to 2013, they were just building the audience with, to your point, cover songs, with other people's content. So,
You
but
down
I
with
think it's
OPC?
what's that?
You down with the OPC?
Yeah.
Other people's content? Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, you know me. So when you hear your artists or you hear record executives and industry people, managers talking about, man, it takes a good song, it takes a good song, it takes a good song.
Mhm.
Yes, this is true, but then they have to put that somewhere to get it heard,
Mhm.
and if it's not getting heard, the music can't do the talking.
Right.
Okay, so let's break down the numbers here. I mean, your job requirement as an indie artist is to replicate to the best of your ability the repetition and exposure necessary to get your song heard repeatedly on social media.
Mhm.
Digital social media is where you're going to break, period. End of story. All the latest signings at the major labels for the last few years are artists who broke on YouTube, TikTok. They didn't break any other way.
Mhm.
Okay. And so to make this happen, you're going to have to be consistent with your releases, first of all. Right.
Oh, let me sidebar real quick. Even if you still hold out hope that like an American Idol or The Voice is going to break you, they will reach out to you, via talent scouts if you're discoverable, right?
There you go. I mean, look at
'Cause-
Wilkes.
Yeah.
Right. Wilkes is the perfect story of that. I mean, one of the most talented singer, songwriter, artist, producer, engineer people. I mean, that dude is self-contained, man.
Yeah,
He's like
it's
freaking
sick.
Prince.
Yeah.
He's a vulgar display of talent, like
Mhm.
really. And he a climber from way back when. And I
Mhm.
remember him saying, I was a snob about the cover songs. I was going to be an original artist, blah, blah, blah. And then he all shamed me with one of those episodes. And so he did 6 covers and pow, he's on The Voice.
Yeah, because they found him. He was discoverable. So you can go and try out, but some of those things, it's talent scouts will reach out to you if you're holding out hope for that to be the gateway, which is not. We've discussed that at length. But even if you want that, it's a lot better to get on there if they discover you online and reach out to you because you're awesome. So either way you want to
Precisely.
go.
And then when you get on the show, are you singing originals?
No.
What are you singing? Covers.
Covers.
Okay. So maybe, I mean, there's a thread here. Like, why
Yeah.
are you trying to reinvent the wheel? You know what I mean? Like the path is clear. It's just the work that's missing. So you have to be consistent with your releases on your music. The bar's
Mhm.
been set by the Beatles. Talk to me when you've done 24 singles.
Mhm.
In how long did it take you? Talk to me then and tell me about consistency, right? So that's just about releasing music, about
Mhm.
creating the music that you have to release. This is before social media, y'all.
Mhm.
We had 12 records in 7 years before social media. Now everybody's like, oh, we got to put out so much content. This is crazy. The Beatles, man, they were digging holes that size before social media ever existed. They had that work ethic before the market said that's what you had to do, you
Mhm.
know? So that was huge, that's the bar. Like you've got to release more content. Now, if you don't have the best songs, like if you write 50 songs and 4 of them are solid,
Mhm.
pad it with cover songs.
Exactly. Yeah, that was just my point earlier is that if you don't
Yeah.
have the goods yet, which is, hey, we all start somewhere and that's fine. We don't all start off writing hit songs. None of us do. Then, hey, go get you some hits from somewhere else. You can do that.
Yes. I mean, yes. And there's nothing like if you just start fricking doing this,
Mhm.
okay, you're going to see the needle move. If you start doing it consistently, it ain't going to move on the first one. So the whole, I'm going to stick my toe in the water and see if Johnny's right. Nope, nothing's happening. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Right? It's not like I'm gonna go take a swing at the plate on a baseball team, and if I miss it, baseball's not for me. I mean,
Right.
come on. You know, you
That's what a
need those
kid
reps.
says. That's what a kid says when they're upset.
That's right.
We didn't win that game. Oh, I struck out this time. Oh, I hate this game. This game's stupid. Thank
That's right.
you, 8-year-old. Right?
My 8-year-old self. Yeah, like get out
Yeah.
of my
It's
head.
like, oh no, you need to mature. You got to realize this is a process. You got to put the time in, right? Same stuff I've told
Yes.
some of my kids.
Yes. And I listen, to break on social media, on digital, you're going to have to be consistent with your content on social media along with your releases, right? You're going
Mhm.
to have a boatload of consistent content to go around and support each of those releases.
Mhm.
That's the only way that you're going to reach a sufficient amount of people enough times to turn them onto your music and to make them aware of who you are and to
Mhm.
let your music do the talking. That's the only way.
Mhm.
There's no other way, right? There's no other way.
Well, if you look at like artists like a Jelly Roll or whoever, it doesn't matter who it is, but any of the big artists, they're trying to get out there as much as they can to be seen and known. So they're trying to get on, they want to get on the late night shows. They want to play on the award shows. They want to get in commercials. They want to do all this stuff. Why? Because market penetration. They want to go, oh, Jelly Roll's a thing. Oh, I
Yeah.
hear parts of his music.
Exposure.
Like, go check it out. It's exposure, right? It's market penetration. So
Yeah.
if they're trying to do that, they're trying to do that they want to go play the Super Bowl, right? They want the biggest bang for the buck they can. Well, same principle applies to you, even though your ceiling isn't as high right now. So what is available? They'll
Yeah,
spend
there it
hours
is.
doing
That's the
liners for
strategy.
radio stations, right? Going, hey, this is Jelly Roll. You're listening to WSIX and da da da. They'll do
Yep.
that. Well, okay, if that's not available for you, what is available for you? If you're
Yeah.
not able to go on radio tour right now because radio stations won't open the door to you, fine. What is available to you? Social media is available to you. Treat it like that. Like, hey, if the artists are going to be doing this and going to all these different avenues and trying to get FaceTime, there's here through gatekeepers, social media, there's no gatekeeper. You're the gatekeeper.
Yeah. And I would argue this. Like, if you're a friggin' billionaire and money's no object, and you can just go and go to Universal and say, hey, I want you to sign me. I'm going to pay for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Universal says yes, so that you can go to radio. I would still say that's a waste of money because you're a brand new artist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like focus on digital, even with all that money, focus on digital first. Radio isn't gonna break you. It's not going to break you. Like it's the outlier now. The artists that broke on radio are the exception to the rule now. It's not the reliable, repeatable promotion platform that it used to be. Okay, we've been saying that for years, Brent. It doesn't launch artists. It's a second stage rocket now, to use your word.
Crap. Even people that are doing well on socials or have a lot of streams on Spotify, you don't even hear them on the radio. A ton of them, right? So
That's exactly right.
but at least they're making money and the people are listening and they're doing something. But even that doesn't guarantee radio success. So why would you skip that and try to go straight for radio? You even have less of a rocket fuel to try and get up through those clouds.
Yeah, you're delusional.
They're having trouble with people that have like, oh yeah, my last 5 releases all had 15 million streams or whatever, which is great. There's still, you don't hear a lot of those people on the radio. I mean, I go down the rabbit hole. I'm looking for artists. I'm going down the tip sheet. And it's like, oh, so-and-so signed to this label and they have, I'm just going to pull up somebody right now. I'll leave the name out of it. But there's an artist I'm thinking of right now. I'm just pulling them up in Spotify. And so this guy is signed to a Nashville label. He's put out some stuff. Never heard him on the radio. Don't know if he's not made a blip, but here's some numbers on Spotify. Oh, there's 14 million streams. There's 4 million. There's 3 million. There's 2.5. There's 1.5 million streams on a label on a successful label, 98, was it? Yeah, almost 97,000 monthly listeners. As far as I know, never been on the radio or not in any sort of,
Yeah.
not to make a blip, not to chart.
Yeah.
And you're going to skip that and go to radio?
Not gonna
I'm not
happen.
liking those odds. But he's making money. He's playing
all
shows.
this stuff. Yeah, all this stuff we're talking about, it can be done, okay? But it's not the way that you're doing it. You got more work to do. The Beatles magic that you seek for your artist brand can be found in the work that you're avoiding. Okay. My point here is about the consistency in your promotional efforts on social media now. You've got to have consistent content of your music coming out, and then you've got to support it consistently on social media. It really is that, and those are the numbers. Like how are you going to get to higher numbers on social media so that you can reach more people? The only friggin' way to do that is through consistency. Even if you get lucky, even if you go viral, if you're not consistent after you go viral, nothing's going to happen. Everybody's going to forget about you. So even the pipe dream of just putting one thing out and having it go viral so that you can feel loved enough and you can feel like you're worthy enough to take the next step and you can get validated. If you haven't done it yet, you're going to lose all that momentum because your next bullet isn't in the chamber. It's like you're in a Mac 10 world, right? Where there's like, and they're firing off 60 rounds a second and you got a musket. Ooh, I hit him. Hold on. Wait 1 second. I'm going to repack this thing. Yeah. And load this thing up and fire it again. That's where you're at. So consistency is the only way to break through on social media. And I mean, like, way more consistent. Okay. And two, you get those reps in through consistency, you start to figure out how the algorithm works. So let's see if you're like this artist. The other day, a couple of days ago, I was talking with the manager of an artist that I know that shall remain nameless. And this artist is complaining that the RV that he has on an 8-week tour run, the RV that his management purchased, there's some stuff broken on it. It's not working right. Before the RV, this artist was, hauling a band in his pickup, pulling a trailer, right? That's close quarters, not a van, pickup.
Right,
the
yeah.
Front seat and the back seat,
Well, it's like a tour bus. There's a bed in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, and then he was complaining about, not being a headliner yet, right? And I've been working all this, I'm not being a headliner yet. He's an ungrateful son of a beastie. He's not a headliner because he refuses to create consistent content. He's not a headliner because he refuses to do covers. He feels it's beneath him. He's trying to be an original artist. So I'm not doing cover songs, And by the way, some rando chick with huge hooters at the gym told him that he shouldn't be doing covers and that, that here's what you got to do. And does she work in the music industry? No, I don't know where she just has hooters, and that's this artist responds to that.
Yes.
And so, he bought that hook, line, and sinker. Why? Because that's what he wanted to hear, So he made this artist her social media, his social media manager. She's made 4 posts in the last 2 months, and
solid work there.
Solid. She knows, right? She knows what she's doing. And he refuses to do covers, even though every single date on this 8-week run that he's on will have him playing cover songs live.
Hey.
Seems a little counterintuitive,
Yeah.
I mean, this story is true and it's indicative of so many artists, right? If this hitting close to home to you, you need to change your mindset. When the manager said he's not headlining because he's not promoting on social media, this artist's answer was, well, I don't have time on this tour. I don't have time, right? Yet he went fishing when he had 2 days off on the tour.
There we go.
when an artist says, I don't have time, or I don't know how this social media thing works, it's the same as a construction worker showing up on a job without any tools, saying, I don't have time to grab my tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same as, any human being not wiping their butt after they have a bowel movement, saying, I didn't have time, just didn't have time.
Hey,
Or
they
how about
obviously
this?
don't have 6 kids. Don't judge.
And how about this? Because this one will really hit home, right? You spending big money on a session, on a recording session, and the guitar player shows up to your recording session without his guitars, and he tells you, sorry, I didn't have time to grab my guitar.
Right.
But I still want to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're going to be looking at that going, are you effing kidding me?
We're going to need to bring the air guitar up a little bit in the mix. Can you bring that up a little bit?
Yeah. Guys, this is it. And I'm going to give a shout out now to another artist that I'm working with that is actually doing it, man. Mackenzie O'Brien.
Love Mackenzie.
For the last couple of years, this girl has been busting her butt in Chicago, building her brand, building her show. She's interested in becoming a better singer, right? Mm-hmm. She's been working with she's always had a vocal coach. I think the vocal coach she had when we first met at the end of 2021, she outgrew that vocal coach. And she was like, you got anybody? I got a couple ideas for you. Yeah. And I hooked her up with one. And man, I mean, she's been doing the reps. She's been putting the work in. The difference between her abilities 2 years ago versus now is astonishing. It's clear how much work she's put into it. She's booked. I mean, I just got her down a week and a half ago to write some more. That was the last window we had in 2024 to do it because she's booked through the end of the year in Chicago, right? Her money's up. Her bookings are up. And that's a testament to her and her team behind her. Her dad it really helps her a lot. Her mom, like they're all there, working this thing, man. They're doing better shows, bigger shows, more people, selling more merch, making stuff happen. And my only complaint about her growth over the last couple of years has been social media. Mm-hmm. And I've been telling her this, like, look, this is a job requirement. There's no way around it. You got to do this. And I've had my foot squarely up her bum for the last 2 years. And this last time she came down to write, I mean, we had this heart to heart. And I was like, how do you feel like how do you feel like your voice has improved over the last couple of years? She's like, a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, me too. And that's gotta feel good, right? Because you put those reps in, you did that work. She's like, yeah. Like, how do you feel it's going to Chicago with like your live show and everything? She's like, good. Like we're on an upward trajectory, like, yes, you are. And the shows keep getting better, making more money, yeah, opening up for better artists, all that kind of stuff, yeah. Now, all you got to do is apply that same effort and that same mindset to this social media thing and to covers. We need more covers. We need to do it. I've been telling her covers for 2 years, well, let me tell you something, man. In the last week, right, all of a sudden I get a cover song, right? This is probably, I can't remember how long when she was down here, but I think it's been a couple of weeks since she was down in Nashville, since that, the last round of writing sessions before in 2024, and so I get a cover song. She's like, what do you think of this? And I'm like, I think that's great. I said, don't stop. She's like, should we post it? And the way I talk to artists is like, look, this is the speech I give them. Just do 20 cover songs. You don't have to publish any of them. But do 20, because here's the thing. Everybody's going to overthink the first one. It's going to be the hardest one. It's going to take the most work because you're going to just overthink it. And you're the most vulnerable and you don't have a system and all this. It's just the most uncomfortable one. And it takes for freaking ever. And then by the 10th one, I tell the artist, you're going to do that one in like 20% of the time. It's just going to be so much quicker at it. And by the 20th one, your picker's going to get better. you're going to start to realize like, man, if I pick a song from this pile over here, when I put my thumbprint on this, it works better than these piles over this way. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to hone in on what kind of songs, what kind of covers work better for you and which ones don't, whatever that means. If you're an artist that's more of a laid back thing, maybe you're picking tempo songs, and you're slowing them down, and you're doing this. And if you're a female artist, maybe you're picking male singers, and you're just as far away from your lane, right? So Mackenzie sends me this first one, and it's great, and I love it. And she's like, "Should I post it?" I'm like, "No." I said, "You know what? This is really good, but I think do 10. Let's do the first 10, and look, and then we'll decide if we're going to post it." I said, "You'll probably end up picking this one to post it, because it's good. But I want to look through the 10, And to Brent, like, what did you say to that? Like, you
What
were
did
like,
I say?
you said like,
working in darkness. Do the work in darkness.
Yeah, because I don't want, because listen, when we release the first one, it's not going to blow up, it's not. It's going to take a string of them that's going to make it happen. So, part of me saying that is like, I want a stack of these that we can release. And, by the time we get to 20, I figure at least we'll have, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 that are just really, really good, that work, because guess what? Every artist is going to do a boatload that don't work.
Yeah.
And that's true of records, even with the best producers, man. You don't go into a recording session and record 10 songs and they're all golden hits. Yeah. Some of them work better than others, and that's just it. Like Billy Joel, some of them grow up to be doctors and lawyers, some of them grow up to be delinquents. Yep. They're all your children.
I mean, even Tom Douglas, he said, well, you talk about my 5 good songs. You didn't talk about the 1,200 or 2,300 or whatever that didn't do anything.
That's right. So then, and this is what I tell him, Brent, before we press record. So, a couple of weeks, I get that first cover song and I'm like, yes, okay, you're on your way. I said, don't stop. I'm just cheerleading, right? I mean, for this girl, I'll put on the skirt and the bobby socks and jump up and down like, come on, do it again, do another one. So then the next day, I get another one.
Yeah.
So I'm telling her, and I'm telling all my artists, like, hey, that by the 10th one, your system's gonna be down. It's gonna take you hardly any time at all. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be a much better process. It's not gonna put you into convulsions. You know what I mean? Because it's just gonna be more comfortable. Well, damn if Mackenzie didn't do it on the second one.
There you go.
And then I got a third one a day or two after that.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's like, what do you think about this in the bathroom? Sound better? Like, yeah. Now you see the wheels are already spinning, right? Yeah. The wheels are already spinning. And so she's just putting it together. So by the time she gets to 20, she's going to have it figured out. Like, okay, I like these covers, not these covers. And I like it here. And all of a sudden, the just trust the process. Take that first step on the staircase of faith and just go up and just do the work. And when that's the last piece of this puzzle for Mackenzie, man. That's the last piece of the puzzle is the promotion part of it. We're going to begin to reach more people as we just start pounding out these covers. Well,
it's funny. So Ozzy and I went to go get breakfast this morning. So Ozzy's my 13-year-old. So like every Friday, they rotate. I'll take a different one to breakfast or whatever, go grab something. And so Ozzy and I are talking, and he's working on it's not going to end up being a full-length novel, but he's 13. So he's working on, like, he wants to write a novel. So he's about 70-something pages in. He's been working on it for a while and just kind of chipping away at it. And it's just the original story of his or whatever. And it's fun because I get to be a story consultant. We'll talk about story and different elements of it and stuff because I geek out on that too because, writer. Yeah. But he was like, man, I'm glad what I figured out is like when you get an idea for the story, like dive in while you're still excited about it and just kind of like just go.
Honor the muse. Honor the muse.
Yeah. And we've talked about this. He goes, and then like you figure out like different things you can add to it and different angles and different stuff that basically you didn't have at the beginning. You didn't have it all figured out. Yep. I'm like, yes, that is a good way to do it. Other people may work differently, whatever, but it got you going. You got the momentum. He goes, and then I'm like, halfway through, and then I don't want to quit because I'm going to be embarrassed if I quit, feel bad, guilty if I quit, because now I'm halfway through. But then, and we'll talk about the story and go, what about this motivation? What if this person's about this? You have this twist, and we'll talk about that stuff, which is fun, really fun for me. And I'm like, yeah, if you try to figure all that stuff out before you wrote the first page, you'd just been exhausted because you'd still feel like you have probably nothing to show for it. You'd still be trying to perfect it without starting. You can correct as you go. You can go back and rewrite. But that makes me think about these artists. Like, you start figuring out, start doing the covers. Yes. Iterate. Start going, oh, this works, that works. Oh, I found a vein of something here that I couldn't see that. That's around a corner. But I had to take 5 or 10 steps before I could see around this corner. Look at that. That opens up a whole new possibility.
Yeah. You had to figure out 5 ways not to make a cover before you're like, oh, this is my cover groove right here. Like, I like this right here. But you're not going to figure it out without, the only way out is through. You just go forward.
My 13-year-old is figuring that out with his first book. So
I love that.
Here we go. Homeschool. Hashtag 13? Homeschool. 13. He's almost as tall as me. He's close. He's real close to tall as me. And he's been working on this book for a couple months. It's kind of like, I wrote another page today. I'm like, that's right. Process. That's the goal. Keep showing up every day, doing it. And the book will write itself, basically. So,
yeah. And before you know it, like, you're halfway done. I mean, look at, like, I think maybe, and this is my opinion right here about Mackenzie, so I can't speak for Mackenzie, but I feel like it took Mackenzie over 2 freaking years to crap out this first cover song and a day to do the second one.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then another day to do the third one. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm just so excited to see, like, okay, I can't wait for her to do 20. And then we're going to look back and we'll be like, Mr. Burns tapping the fingertips together. Which ones are the best ones? Like, let's, and I'm going to weigh in on it. Like, hey, and I'll bet you we have the same opinion on which ones work and which ones don't work,
Yeah. And even the ones that don't work as well, you got them in the can. If you need it for consistency, you got some margin, right?
Good point.
It may not get you in the growth, although you never know, because sometimes people are wrong. Like, that one, Jack and Diane, that one, that's the one people like, right? So, but you got it in the holster in case you're like, oh, I got sick this weekend or whatever, or I got a long run of shows, which is awesome, but I didn't have time to do my cover song. Well, okay, let's put that one out for consistency. You start putting some in the quiver.
Yeah, man, that's really it. So guys, how many songs will you release in the next 7 years?
5,482.
How much content is it going to take to reach 73 million people for 15 minutes? There it is. There's your breakdown. There's your breakdown. That's the reality of it. That reality doesn't change. You are not doing enough work on the promotion, period. End of story. Okay. And the good news is, you're the only one that can change that.
Yeah.
You're the only one that can change that.
What's interesting to me is it's all coming back to the Beatles, right? Because songs are getting shorter, like those early Beatles songs in general, like especially like in country, they're getting shorter. It's more singles based than it is albums based now for a lot of people. Just putting out, and that's what people did in that. It wasn't just the Beatles, Elvis, but that era is like, putting out an A side, maybe a B side, maybe that'll get picked up too. But we can put them out consistently. It's like, it all goes back to the Beatles. It always does.
Yeah.
Good cover songs goes back to the Beatles.
Literally. And just a side note about the Beatles, like, thank them for your music industry, because they changed everything. I mean, when the Beatles, we told you in 1970 when they broke up, 600 million records sold, right? They were worth $10 million a piece. Which, let's put that in perspective, right? When Bon Jovi hit it on the third record with Slippery When Wet, they sold I want to say that was like 10 or 14 million records on that or something that year. And after the tour, this includes the tour and the album sales and all that, Bon Jovi was worth $93 million.
Wow.
10 million records, 14 million records versus 600 million, right? All those laws changed on account of the Beatles. Bon Jovi gets to do that because when the Beatles came out, any a-hole can print the Beatles on a t-shirt and sell it.
Oh yeah.
And they would be like, hey, how come
that's my mop top.
How come that guy can make money off of our brand? Like we need that, ain't right.
Mop top on your crop top.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop.
So, all those merch, all that trademark stuff, man, that was the Beatles, y'all. So, hey, bow down to them because they paved the way for you to be able to, make a living at this. And it was, holy crap, 600 million units in 7 years. Like that's mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. But anyway, guys, that's all I got to say about that. Do more. You don't have a choice. There's no, whatever excuse you're saying, I don't care. I don't care what your excuse is. It's an excuse. My dad used to say excuses are like butts. Everyone has one. They all stink. You know what I mean? Like, it's an excuse. You need to do more content. And so to support the releases that you're putting out, you probably need to put out more music. You certainly need to put out more cover songs. And that's that's how this is going to work for you. And you will, if you do those reps, I promise you, you immediately go from that little tub that they bathe newborns in the sink. You're going to skip right over the kiddie pool and you're going to start wading into the slightly deeper end of the shallow part of the gene pool in the music business. That's how fast the needle will move for you. You know what I mean? And then you're going to work your way into the deep end of that gene pool and become a force to be reckoned with. But it really is about how many people are you reaching? And the only way to reach more people is through more consistent content that's really good and content that people want to watch, like cover songs. That's how your music's going to do the talking because it's going to get in front of more people. That's simple math. It really
there we
is.
go.
That's all it is. So I got to say about that, guys. That takes us to the end of another Killer C.L.I.M.B episode. Download my PDF document that says whoever owns the traffic rules the road, man. It's going to help you sort of really differentiate between how radio broadcast marketing worked versus digital in the consumption there so that you can start asking the right questions. Just go to giftfromjohnny.com, JOHNNY, giftfromjohnny.com, and tell me where to send it. This podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.